Have you ever wondered what makes the Indian English accent so unique? Well, if you're a linguistic adventurer or a culture enthusiast, you're in the right place. We're setting off on a journey to unravel the distinctiveness of the Indian English accent. In the vast, vibrant tapestry of world languages, accents are the intricate threads that add depth and character. The Indian English accent, with its unique rhythm and timbre, is one such vibrant thread. It's like a musical composition, distinct yet harmonious, mirroring the country's rich cultural and linguistic diversity. Now let's talk about the American accent for a moment. It's globally recognized and often used as a standard for English language learning. But it's just one way to express English. In India, English has its own beat, its own flavor. It's English, but not as you know it. It dances to the rhythm of regional languages, it's spiced with cultural nuances, and it's seasoned with historical influences. The Indian English accent is not a monolith, but rather a symphony of sounds influenced by the country's linguistic diversity. It's a fascinating blend of different regional accents, each adding its own unique touch. From the hard Ds that echo in the mountains of the north, to the rolling Rs that ripple through the backwaters of the south, there's always something new to discover. In this journey, we'll explore some key features that make the Indian accent stand out. We'll look at the love for Ds, the mischievous movements of the tongue, the unique intonation patterns, the rhythm, and the distinctive pronunciation. We'll also delve into the historical linguistic influences and the cultural nuances embedded in speech. And yes, we're even going to explore a fun theory about the role of delicious Indian food, so buckle up. We're about to embark on an exciting linguistic journey, diving deep into the heart of the Indian English accent. From the bustling streets of Mumbai to the serene backwaters of Kerala, from the vibrant bazaars of Delhi to the tranquil tea gardens of Darjeeling, we'll explore the multifaceted sounds of Indian English. Let's delve deeper and understand why the Indian accent is so distinctive. Firstly, let's talk about Indians' love for their Ds. Now, don't let your mind wander off to the alphabets in your soup. We're talking about the phonetic D, a sound that's as distinctive in the Indian accent as a peacock's call in a silent forest. What makes it so unique? Well, it's all about where the sound originates from. In the Indian accent, the D sound comes from the back of the mouth. Picture a cricket ball bowled from the back of the hand. It's quite different from the American accent, where the D sound is more like a baseball pitch, thrown from the ridge near the teeth. This hard D, deeply embedded in the Indian accent, gives it a unique flavor, much like the dash of spice in your favorite curry. Isn't it interesting how a single letter can influence how we perceive an accent? Next, let's explore the role of the tongue in the Indian accent. In the Indian English accent, the tongue plays a lively part. Unlike the American accent, where the tongue often remains relatively flat, the Indian tongue is quite the acrobat, moving and twisting with each word, each syllable. It's almost as if it's performing a dance of language, if you will. Imagine a gymnast, deftly maneuvering their way through a routine, or a skilled pianist, their fingers dancing across the keys. That's the Indian tongue, agile and expressive, bringing life and character to the language. Now compare this to the American accent. The tongue remains rather steady, only making the necessary movements. It's more of a steady jog, a methodical rhythm. In India, the tongue is a key player, adding a distinct flavor to the spoken English, so it's not just about the words, but also how they are articulated. Now, onto another unique aspect, intonation. You see, the Indian accent is like a well-composed symphony with its own distinctive melody. This melody, my friends, is shaped by intonation, the rise and fall of the voice in speech. In the Indian accent, this intonation pattern is an art in itself. Imagine a roller coaster ride with its thrilling highs and plunging lows. That's how the pitch varies in the Indian accent, creating a dynamic rhythm. This pitch variation is not just for dramatic effect, it carries meaning too, adding depth and color to the spoken words. Next, we have stress. In the Indian accent, stress is often placed on certain syllables, giving them a pronounced emphasis. This creates a unique rhythm, a signature beat, if you will, that adds to the musicality of the language. The melody of language, isn't it fascinating? Let's move on to pronunciation and rhythm. Pronunciation is the cornerstone of any accent, and the Indian accent is no exception. The R sound, for instance, is a phonetic variation that distinctly sets the Indian accent apart. In American English, the R is pronounced in a more rounded and smooth manner. However, in the Indian accent, the R sound is more pronounced, with a roll of the tongue that gives it a unique flavor. Then there's the distinction of the th sounds. In many English accents, including the American, the th sound is pronounced using the tip of the tongue against the upper teeth, like in thing or thought. But in the Indian accent, it's a bit different. The th sound is often pronounced as a d or a t, making thing sound like ting and thought like taught. This is a subtle difference, but one that significantly contributes to the uniqueness of the Indian English accent. Now let's tap into the rhythm of the Indian accent. The rhythmic patterns in Indian English speech can differ quite a bit from other English accents. It's like a dance of words, a melody that's influenced by the cadence of native languages spoken in India. Each region, each language brings its own beat to the table, creating a symphony of sounds that is distinctly Indian. It's not just about saying the words, it's about feeling the rhythm in them. The rhythm in the Indian accent is often syllable-timed, meaning that each syllable takes roughly the same amount of time to pronounce. This differs from stress-timed languages like American English, where certain syllables are stressed more than others. The rhythmic patterns of Indian English add another layer of complexity and richness to the accent, making it all the more unique. The rhythm of speech, another key element that shapes the Indian accent. Now let's delve into the historical and cultural aspects. The Indian English accent is a fascinating blend of history, culture, and linguistic evolution. The British colonization of India left a deep-seated linguistic influence on the country. The English language was adopted, adapted, and transformed, resulting in the distinct Indian English accent we recognize today. Imagine the sound of English words adorned with the phonetics of more than 20 officially recognized Indian languages, each with its own unique rhythm and intonation. It's like a linguistic tapestry rich with historical threads woven over centuries. Additionally, the Indian accent is peppered with cultural expressions, idioms, and references. This cultural nuance adds an extra layer of distinctiveness, making it more than just a way of speaking. It becomes a means of expressing cultural identity. For instance, you might hear an Indian speaker use the phrase, "What's your good name?" as a polite way of asking someone's name, or the term time pass, meaning to waste time or do something to kill time. These are idioms that have been directly translated from Indian languages into English, adding a unique flavor to the Indian English accent. And let's not forget the cultural references. Indian speakers often refer to popular Bollywood movies, cricket matches, or local festivals in their conversations. These references, while seeming casual, are deeply rooted in the Indian way of life and are reflected in the way English is spoken. So, when you listen to an Indian speaker, you're not just hearing an accent. You're getting a glimpse into a rich history and a vibrant culture. You're understanding how historical events like colonization have shaped the language, how the cadence of native languages influence the rhythm, and how cultural nuances are embedded in speech. Indeed, the Indian English accent is more than just a way of speaking. It's a testament to a country's history, its resilience, and its cultural wealth. It's a linguistic journey through time, a narrative of a nation's past and a reflection of its present. Indeed, language is a reflection of our history and culture. And now for a bonus point, our food theory. Now bear with me on this one, folks. Could it be that the rich and diverse Indian cuisine has a role to play in the accent? Picture this. You're savoring a plate of authentic chicken tikka masala, the spices dancing on your tongue, the flavors exploding in your mouth. As the taste takes over, you can't help but exclaim, "Bahut acha." Suddenly your tongue is rolling those R's and softening those D's, influenced by the symphony of flavors. It's a stretch, I know, but wouldn't it be fun to think that the food you eat could affect the way you speak? And who knows, with the variety and complexity of Indian cuisine, it just might be possible. So next time you enjoy an Indian curry, remember it might just be shaping the way you speak.